there was an artist and he was looking at some post about AI and he replied sort of angrily that, oh, what people don't even understand is sure, there's going to be a ton of like instantly generated crap, but it's all going to be bad because there's still a very small number of people that have good ideas. And my response was, if you think that ideas are safe, you're really going to get caught off guard. So going back to the idea of what are people unprepared for, I think they are unprepared for what you were just talking about, where the AI, so the human mind is a prediction machine. It is
Yep.
constantly trying to figure out what does this next movement of my foot equate to? Am I going to stay up, stay on balance? That rustling in the bush, is it a tiger? What is it? If I put money in my 401k, am I going to be able to retire? You're constantly predicting the future, constantly. And whenever that prediction engine breaks down, there's going to be a tremendous amount of anxiety. And also, I think a pretty big unknown in terms of how it's going to impact society. So right now we're building something that is incredibly good at recognizing the patterns that we kick off.
Yep.
So we are optimized to identify patterns and move accordingly. And I would say people that are hyper intelligent are people that they notice patterns faster, more subtle patterns, and they understand their implications and how to make sense of them. Now we're creating something that's already proven to be so much better at pattern recognition than we are. Just take art. So for people that don't understand how the art is created, it looks at a field of noise. Here are all the possible things that these could be in any of these pixels. And from that field of possibilities, it pulls forth the most likely placement of pixels and colors based on what you type. That's insane.
Yeah.
So that level of pattern recognition, as evidenced by the art that it can generate, is truly mind-blowing. So this guy's saying, okay, hey, at least ideas will be the last bastion and you'll never be able to get rid of me, the artist, because I'm the one with taste, I'm the one with good ideas. Not realizing, no. What AI is a pattern recognition machine. It will recognize the greatest ideas that have ever been had, what they have in common, and will be able to predict the next great idea along that thing. It doesn't even have to just regurgitate what it's already seen. It can like figure out what that sequence is and what that next part of the sequence could be. And on top of that, it's doing that with humans. So AI is already extraordinarily good. This
Yeah.
is why people think their phone's recording them when it serves an ad. Oftentimes, Target, using their AI, knows that you're pregnant before you do if you're a
Yeah.
woman, because they know what to pick up on. So AI is going to get extremely good at understanding us at an individual level, serving us up exactly what we want right in that moment. And that gets dystopian really fast.
Really fast. I mean, again, when you combine it with the social credit score, as you've seen in kind of China and other things, you gamify life and you have a system of complete social control, a panopticon, as it were. The pattern recognition was the missing bit, whereby you had a level of pattern recognition. So for taste, what do you have? TikTok, Shine, $100 billion companies based on old school algorithms before we even got to generative AI, which, as you said, it can take images out of noise. Stable Diffusion, the model that we collaborate on now that we lead, we took 100,000 gigabytes of images and the output was a 2 GB file that acts as a filter. Words go in, images come out. Because
Why is that discrepancy in size meaningful?
50,000 to 1 compression is not WinZip. If you remember Silicon Valley on HBO, it's way beyond what they managed there in terms of compression. It's unheard of compression.
Is it compression or is it something completely
Something
different?
different. It's intelligence. It's learning the principles. How much information do you see? And then you learn the principles and you learn to spot the tiger in the bush. You learn what's next. Literally, GPT and these language models, they predict the next word. That's all they do. They pay attention, they predict the next word. And that was the missing part to intelligence that now is there. We've had the first studies now come out that show that the language models score higher in creativity than people.
Woof.
And again, think about TikTok, think about Shine, think about how those old school algorithms are already targeting you. Facebook needs 17 data points to know you better than your friend. As he said, Target knows you're pregnant before. And that was old school. Now it's even better. And you think about where that leads to as well. It's kind of crazy because it can be more creative than you, but are people creative? One of the things I like to say in my speeches, I've just been learning to do, is like, are you creative? How many of you in the audience are creative? 3 to 5% put up their hands, maybe 10 to 20% if I'm like in a movie studio, movie filmmaker kind of milieu. And I say, how many of you believe that every kid is creative? And everyone puts up their hand. And then I ask, how many of you were kids once? And 95% put up their hands. So I know who the cyborgs in the audience come from the future to get me are. I make a note of that for future. Something happens where we're told we're not creative. And obviously some people are more creative than others, can tell better stories than others. But the reality is that the average level of barrier to this has dropped for every human. But much of what we consider art, or much of which we consider media, shall we say, already is by the numbers. I was at a Blackpink concert last weekend. Took my daughter.
Don't you dare say something bad about Blackpink.
And they are awesome. It was an awesome manufactured experience. It was premium mediocre is how I kind of say these things.
Premium mediocre?
Premium mediocre.
That's hilarious.
But
Accurate.
It's nice.
I'll
But
give you
again,
that.
it's massively manufactured. It's entertaining, right? And so much of media is already that. Like true art